Race, nationality, sexuality, gender, these are all parts of identity. And on the topic of identity, this is today's video. Oli London. If you don't know who this guy is, he's a British male, or British non-binary person, to be correct. He wants to be Korean, ergo having Korean surgery. Not Korean surgery, but plastic surgery to look like he's Korean. He's obsessed with the BTS member Jimin, who's part of a K-pop band. If you've been living under a rock, that's a bit of an explanation. But as the title of his video says, I'm fully Korean, new surgeries. So let's dive right into the deep end.
Hey guys, it's Oli, aka Jimin, as a lot of you guys know me, my Korean name. I'm just here with a little update for all of you guys. As you can see, I've gone to the next level in my transition now. So like literally 2 months ago, I did my eyes, my brow lift, my teeth, and now I've done my nose again. And then I've also made my nipples Korean as
well. Okay, how can you make a nipple Korean? That is the $1 million question. I'm confused by this. Didn't realize you could have Korean nipples. I just thought all nipples were generally the same, not the same, but not race dependent. So yeah, that is something new to me, which is interesting. And I mean, okay.
as well. So, I did an interview like a month or two ago on This Morning in the UK, and it brought up a lot of questions. The presenter Philip Schofield asked me like, how.
Okay, so This Morning is a British TV program that's on in the morning, as the name suggests. It usually covers media, trends, news, etc.
How can your nipples be Korean? And I was like, yeah, actually, that's a good point. I need to make my nipples Korean. So I've actually gone to make my nipples Korean and K-pop, so they actually match Jimin's. And I did also have like some scarring.
I don't know how you would manage to know what Jimin's nipples look like without either stalking him or maybe his pictures topless are online. But yeah.
Now from a previous operation, so they fixed that and they've done an amazing job. But yeah, I have my new nose, guys. It's modeled on a K-pop nose, modeled on a Korean nose. So I feel like so close to my transition now. Like I've never once said that I identify 100% as Korean, but I literally feel like now like 95%. Like
you can't identify as Korean. It's not a choice. Your race is what you are born as. He is not Korean because genetically he's not Korean. Biologically he's not Korean. His DNA, his cells are not Korean. His gametes are not Korean. You can identify as being gay or whatever sexuality you want. You can identify as whatever gender you want, but you can't identify as a race. That is a set factor. There's no variables in there.
I'm really getting close, and even after my surgery I started cooking kimchi, and it just made me feel like I was absorbing the smell in my new nose of the kimchi, the burning cabbage, the rice. It just made me feel more Korean, and it was a beautiful, beautiful feeling. So yeah, this is it, guys. This is my latest surgeries, and I really think this could be my last surgeries. I've been transitioning now for 8 years, and this is probably, I think this is like my 20th surgeries.
Jesus, absolute Christ. So, transitioning for 8 years, 20 surgeries, that's averaging at 5 surgeries a year. And that must cost a bucket ton of money. I don't know where this guy gets his money from. I know he has a fan base of about nearly 40,000. So the like to dislike ratio on this video, and most of them are about 8% upvotes. This is not Reddit. It's 8% likes and 92% dislikes. So 24k to 1.3k. That is insane.
treadle. So this is 19, this is 20. So yeah, 20 surgeries now, and I look so Asian and Korean. It's not even funny. Like, this is crazy, like how Korean I look.
It was never funny.
And I even went to Koreatown recently before my nose job, and the Korean people told me that they thought I was Korean or they thought I was mixed. So I feel like now I need to go to Korea.
No. Do not bother the people of Korea. I've looked online and he doesn't have much support from Korean people. He's received a lot of hate. What they have, again, mislabeling them. They have received a lot of attention, a lot of it being negative, and most Korean people have been disapproving of their transition. But it's not fair. It's racist. It's like yellow face, but on an extreme, like permanent yellow face. It's not even funny at all.
And show the Korean people my new nipples, show my new nose, and ask them,
Do not show anyone your nipples in public, please. Please don't. That would be problematic.
do I look Korean? Like, am I Korean? What do you think? Because like everything about me is Korean. So I feel like I've
No, not everything about you is Korean. Externally, you may look Korean, but that's also plastic surgery. Again, I don't know why I'm directly addressing this guy. It's a weird tendency I have. Maybe that makes my videos different. But this guy, Oli London, he isn't Korean, as I've said before. Not genetically Korean, not biologically, only physically looking Korean.
I've achieved my purpose. My dream has finally been achieved. And what I want to do now is I want to really focus on the Korean people who have been nothing but supportive and loving of me. So I actually want to move to Korea. And this is what I'm offering Korean people. This is what I'm offering the president of Korea. I know for males in Korea, it's important to do 2 years mandatory military service. So once I recover from my surgery, I will do this for you guys in Korea. I will do 2 years military service. I will defend Korea. I will be in the army. I will do the assault courses, whatever the Korean people want me to do. I will defend.
What I think most of them want him to do is to leave, because he is basically making a mockery of their culture, their appearance at this point, and just everything about them is kind of being mocked by this guy, and it's not really fair.
You guys and protect you, and I would love to join the Korean army and become a Korean citizen. So I will do all of that for Korea because I love you guys so much, and I hope that I can join the military with some other K-pop stars as well, because I know the K-pop stars before they're 30 always have to enlist. So I really hope I can join, maybe be in the military with Jimin.
This is where he shows the obsession with the BTS member Jimin a lot more. it's just wrong and weird.
That would be just so crazy, and then we could become best friends, and we'd literally look like twins. We'd be good like double agents because we look the same. But yeah, so that's my goal now. So my goal now is to recover, focus on my body, get in military shape, and then join the Korean military for my Korean people. But it's been a really long journey, and I'm feeling amazing. I feel so happy to have this beautiful nose. It's so cute. It's so symmetrical, so Korean. And I can actually breathe. And look at these Korean nipples. These are so adorable.
Okay, close up, was not expecting that. But sure, I guess.
Like, I didn't even know K-pop nipples was a thing, but now I've got them. So I'm super, super happy about that. But yeah, I just want to talk about the last few months because I did get a lot of hate online, and feel like people really misunderstood me.
Okay, I mean, see, you can be disapproving of this guy. I certainly am. For this person. But they don't deserve hate. And I did do a bit of looking up before. They received transphobia and homophobia because they are non-binary, as I stated at the start of the video. But that's not right, just because you disagree with their choices in life. I mean, I disagree with Oli London, but I won't go attacking them for their gender and sexuality. It is not right.
People misunderstood what I'm about, what I represent. I represent Korea. All Korean people love.
No, that's why I'm gonna stop agreeing with him. He does not represent anyone. I don't think he needs me to say that. He only represents himself, really, and the rest of the people that want to be Korean or are obsessed with them. No, I suppose that's the same thing, because I don't think he represents any Korean going, because as far as I'm aware, he's received no positive support from Korean people.
Me. So I just want to talk about that because I did receive a lot of hate, homophobia about being non-binary, homophobia about being Korean. I mean, who does that? It's 2020.
You can't receive homophobia about being a race. That would be racism, and he's not Korean. They are. Jesus Christ. Need to stop that. But yeah, they're not Korean. They are white. So you cannot receive you cannot receive homophobia about a race, only about sexuality, and you cannot receive racism about being a race that you're not.
21. So anyway, yeah, I just want to talk about that. So I want people to be more accepting, more understanding. It's 2021. We can all be what we want to be. We can identify however we want. So I just want people to understand me more. Korean is a thing. Being Korean, being Jimin is actually a thing, guys.
Yeah, and that's for Jimin himself, not this nutcase.
Maybe I invented it. I don't know. But since I came out, share my story, I've had so many young people tell me that I've inspired them.
Oh dear, he's influencing the young, and as any person who's of knowledge of influence, children are very easy to influence. That's why people can manipulate them very easily, and it's not fun. A lot of people politically, for example, Nazis, they influence children with the Hitler Youth and the German League of Maidens, and they abused how easily they adapt to it. So the fact that he's promoting this, that they are promoting this, is stupid. I'm not comparing it to Nazism, but I'm saying the way children are influenced, the Nazis took advantage of that. Obviously, they're not trying to put across a political agenda, but they shouldn't be promoting this.
They feel transracial too. They want to come out. They want to.
Being transracial, I can't even speak English. Being transracial is not legally recognized. Yes, there's people talking about it online. It's gained some media attention, but it's not legally recognized. You can't be transracial. You can be transgender. You can be transsexual, meaning you're attracted to transgender people. But you cannot be transracial. That is impossible. It's not legally recognized. Ergo, most people don't recognize it.
Express themselves. So I feel very blessed that I've been able to give these people a voice. And transracial is a thing. It's even on Wikipedia, guys. So look.
Wikipedia isn't even a trustable source. There's literally a Wikipedia article saying that Wikipedia is not a trustable source. Though that is a paradox. So you can't really tell whether you can trust that or not. But long story short, yeah, Wikipedia has an article saying not to trust Wikipedia because it's not a trustable source.
Look it up, Google it. Transracial is a thing, and it's here to stay. If you can be transsexual, you can be transvestite, you can dress up as a man to a woman, whatever, which is fantastic. I love that. But if you can do that, if you can, marry an inanimate object, which is what I did, I married a cardboard cutout Jimin.
Jesus fucking Christ. This person is utterly insane. I thought they were insane before, but marrying an inanimate object, that is just a sign of insanity. And secondly, marrying a cardboard cutout of a person is deep, deep obsession, and that is concerning. I know this person likes gymming a lot. I know Oli absolutely loves gymming, probably fantasizes over gymming a lot. I would not be surprised. But marrying a cardboard cutout is straight up insanity. It's concerning at that point.
Like, if you can do that, why can't you be transracial? Because it's the thing, we should be embracing everyone from transracial, transsexual, transvestite, LGBT. We need to embrace everyone, guys, because we are all human beings. We should love each other, whether someone's non-binary, whether someone's like asexual, genderqueer, one of those, things. We should embrace that, and we should love, support everyone, because I feel like being transracial does belong under the LGBTQI plus.
No, it doesn't. It does not. The LGBTQIA plus is for all those things that he's listed, except transracial, because the LGBT is for the protection of these people who are those things, and it's to protect them because they're a minority. It's for the celebration of who they are, because they've been oppressed for many decades, and being transracial, you aren't oppressed because you can't be transracial. It's not a thing. I do agree with this person's message. You should certainly love one another, not hatred, because that's not going to get you anywhere. But I disagree when it comes to the transracial stuff.
Plus umbrella, and I totally feel like transracial needs to be added to the transsexual and LGBT flag. I think that would be very good to help the underrepresented millions of people that do identify either as Korean, maybe a lot of people identify as Japanese, people that like all the anime. If I start watching anime every day.
That is called being a weeb, or just embracing Japanese culture. Liking anime and Japanese food and culture is not identifying as Japanese. Maybe if you're off your head, like Oli is here, but you cannot be identifying as a different race. That's not how it works.
Start eating like Japanese food, start talking Japanese, I might start identifying as Japanese. Who knows? Because it's a fluid thing. It depends on how we feel, depends on how what culture we live in. If you live in Japan for 5 years, maybe you do identify as Japanese.
No. Race is not fluid, it is fixed. There's no variables, there's no variation. You are what you are genetically, just as I'm a white British male.
And that should be celebrated, that shouldn't be criticized. So that's my message for the world. I want to spread love, happiness, and I want it to be more of an inclusive world. And I look Korean now, so nobody can say that I can't identify as Korean, that I'm not Korean, because guys, this is a Korean right here. Korean nipples, Korean nose, Korean eyes, Korean lips, Korean chin. Literally everything's Korean apart from my ears. I actually haven't done my ears. Maybe I should do that next. But I just need to know, what do Korean ears look like? Maybe I'll do that next. But anyway, I just want to, say I love everyone for supporting me. And to all the haters out there, you need to be more accepting of the transracial community and the Korean community, people that identify in different ways. Because look, we're all humans. Let's love and support each other. Transracial is here to stay. I will be a champion for all of the young people that feel trapped in their own bodies and feel trapped in their culture. And I think we should celebrate our differences. And having these Korean nipples and this new Korean nose has really inspired me to do more to help the transracial community and hopefully give you guys a voice. Okay, so I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait for you guys to see my new Korean nose and my new Korean nipples. Honestly.
Okay, that's where I'm gonna cut that off here. So to sum this up, I did a bit of research before, and I believe he spent over 168,000 on these 20 surgeries. And as they said there, pardon me, that they're going to get more for their ears. And I mean, that is kind of worrying because it is an obsession. And obviously, there's the ideology of if it's not hurting you or anyone else, it's fine. But I genuinely think it's not acceptable to be kind of racist like he is, being transracial isn't a thing. Being racist is wanting to be a different race, and being a different race are two different things. You can't be a different race other than what you were born as. You can be a different nationality if you are a citizen in a different country, but you cannot do that. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, subscribe if you want more content like this, and if you like it, like the video if you like it as well, because it shows me that people are a fan of my content, and it will help me strive to continue making similar videos. And that's about it. So thank you for watching, and see you later.